Shumai, and welcome to Two Welsh Dads, the podcast where two proud Welsh fathers talk life, parenting, and everything in between. I'm Stefan, and I'm joined by my fellow dad and friend, Glyn. And we're also joined by the wonderful Mike Charles, an assistant psychologist at Aneirin Bevan. This is our 25th episode, so grab a cuppa and take a seat, and let us tell you what you can expect from the journey ahead. Should my Mike and Glyn?
Why?
Shumai.
Welcome, Mike. Thank you very much for coming on. And yeah, coming to talk to us. It's really, really cool to get different voices across Wales who work in this sphere. And yeah, I think we reached out because I saw that you run a men's group.
Yes, wow. So I run it's a dad's group aimed at dads of children who have children with, who have children with disabilities and developmental conditions, so things like autism, that kind of thing. So the group's been running for just over 10 years now, and I've been running it since 2017.
Wow, that's awesome. What's the name of the group, Mike?
It is called Dad's Group Gwent. No imagination, just
simple. That's the best way. Dad's Group Gwent. Nice.
Says what it is. I'm with it.
Oh, fab. How many members do you have?
Numbers, I've got about 30, because we have a WhatsApp group as well. So I've got about 30 people in the WhatsApp group. We tend to get, there are people who have joined and they've dropped off over the years. But we tend to get around sort of 10 people come to each session.
That's awesome.
We're not massive numbers, but the impact is there.
But the impact's huge. What kind of things do you do then, Mike?
Generally, we just spend time talking and chatting. The idea of the group is to talk about our children and challenges, and not just the challenges, the joys as well. So we'll spend time just thinking about how things have been over the last month, or the dads can bring dilemmas, the things that they're struggling with. We'll offer. So I run the group as a dad. I'm an assistant psychologist. When I started running the group, I wasn't. I'm a dad of children who have. I have 4 children. 3 of them are autistic. So I came into the group as a dad initially, and I was asked if I would be willing to take over running the group. So I bring my lived experience, and now because I work with children and families, I bring some of my work sort of knowledge and experience as well into that. But generally, it's the dads come along. We'll chat about things that are going on in their lives and share our perspectives and our thinking, and just offer some advice and support based on lived experience. And then I'll obviously bring in some psychology now, just because it wouldn't feel right not to if I can help somebody in the moment.
That's it.
But sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just chat, and sometimes we just talk about other stuff. Sometimes the dads just come because they want to have a break, a bit of escapism.
Yeah. Wow, nice. Sounds good. Sounds wonderful.
One of the things that it was the dads support group that I think is really key to highlight those spaces, create those spaces. But obviously the thing that stood out about you was that lived experience of you can go into the personal journey that you went on, but as our mindful moment this week, I know you brought along a small story to encapsulate, to capture kind of that journey, I guess, of becoming a father of a child that's disabled. I think it's beautiful, and I'd love to share that with our audience. And again, as a mindful moment, just spend a couple of moments just thinking and reflecting on that story. So if you would mind reading, that'd be fab.
Absolutely. So this is a piece of writing called Welcome to Holland, and it's by a lady called Emily Pearl Kingsley. And she sort of sets the scene initially. So I'll just read what she's written. So I'm often asked to describe the experience of raising a child with a disability, to try to help people who have not shared that unique experience to understand it, to imagine how it would feel. It's like this. When you're going to have a baby, It's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks and you make your wonderful plans, the Colosseum, the Michelangelo, David, the gondolas in Venice. You may learn some handy phrases in Italian. It's all really exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands and the flight attendant comes in and says, "Welcome to Holland." "Holland, you say? What do you mean, Holland? I signed up for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. All my life, I've dreamed of going to Italy." But there's been a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland, and there you must stay. The important thing is that they haven't taken you to a horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence, famine, and disease. It's just a different place. You must go out now and buy new guidebooks, and you must learn a whole new language, and you'll meet a whole new group of people who you would never have met otherwise. It's just a different place. It's slower paced than Italy, less flashy than Italy. But after you've been there for a while and you catch your breath, you look around and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills and Holland has tulips. Holland even has Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and they're all bragging about what a wonderful time they've had there. And for the rest of your life, you will say, "Yes, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I had planned." And the pain of that will never, ever, ever go away, because the loss of that dream is a very, very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't go to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special and very lovely things about Holland.
Wow.
That is beautiful. It's, oh, well, there's so much to unpack, really, but I'd love to hear from you whether, again, I have no experience in this. You are the expert. Does that ring true to your experience?
I think it did. When I first read it, I was shown up probably around 20 years or so ago, on a parenting course that I'd gone to because of my child having their diagnosis. And when I read it, I cried. It really sort of hit exactly how I was feeling with it. And my child is my stepson, so that was my stepchild. So I wasn't expecting to have that same sort of feeling. But I think when you become a parent, or when you're planning to become a parent, you do build up these ideas about what being a parent is going to be like. You might, think about going to play football with them, teaching them to ride a bike, going on all these adventures, thinking about all the things that you did when you were a child, that you love to do. And when you find out you have a child who has any kind of disability, I think you have to spend a bit of time reevaluating what that means, and it changes that view. And I think parents often describe going through a period of almost grief because they've built up this picture of what being the perfect parent was, the perfect family, and then they have to get used to actually this is going to look very different to what I imagined. So yeah, I think that's where I got to when I went up until reading this, and that sort of made me sort of connect with how I was feeling, and change it a little bit to thinking actually, there's no reason why we can't do other things. Let's explore that. Let's think about what they like to do, and how can we realign sort of my values. What can I realign about what was important to me about being a parent, and providing my children with lots of really positive experiences, and how can I realign that then to my child, and their needs and their situations. So yeah, to still give them those experiences. They're going to be very different, but yeah, but that takes time. I think it takes a lot of process and a lot of time for people to get to that point. I think I've seen though that I think over the years though I've seen that it doesn't quite align as well with dads, which maybe we'll go into in a little while. But yeah, I think initially, like I said, I think it really struck me. It was a really powerful message, and came at a time when it was really needed.
One thing that stood out for me was that kind of transformative point of changing like views of I just saw Holland as this place like that feeling that I think is important to talk about, that feelings are okay, feeling like didn't want this, but then that transformation into the process of starting to see the beauty in what life has given you, life has gifted you, which really, really stands up for me.
Yeah, because your children are still, still wonderful.
Mm,
Um, they bring lots of extra challenges, but being a parent is challenging anyway. There's always challenges that come from being a parent, for any parent. Um, it brings extra challenges because there's things that parents who don't have disabled children don't need to think about, like just traveling from one place to another. You got to think about how you're going to get there. If your child has a wheelchair, is the place going to be accessible? So it creates all these extra challenges, but there's so many joys. It's something we talk about in the group as well a lot, about sort of concentrating on the joys that our children bring. And I mean, because our children often take so much longer to get to meet milestones, we can celebrate the smaller steps, which other parents don't often sort of have time or to consider. They happen so quickly that your child starts speaking, and all of a sudden they're speaking in sentences,
yeah.
and but there's a lot between that. There's a lot between the first the first time your child says mama or dada to them developing sentences, because that happens so quickly. Like I said, generally we don't have time to think about all the steps. But I think for children with disabilities, that process can be much longer. And so they might say the first word, they might not say their first word for 3, 4, 5 years. So that's a huge step in itself. And then when they start using sentences, that again can be quite a protracted sort of big period of time. And so there's lots of other bits in between, noises that they make. So yeah, so it's important to explore that as well and think about not just the challenges that come, but all of the wonderfulness that our children bring as well.
Talking about timeline, I'm just imagining being in, like, you're a new dad, um, first time parent, and you're going through that process. Is there like a normal timeline that you'd advise someone of how, like a realistic timeline, even if it's varies between different people, of how long that process of, you know, coming to terms with it takes?
Are you talking from the perspective of the parent here, Glenn, or the child?
Yeah, I think sometimes it helps of just going, it takes, I think, to really, well, even in that poem, right? It said, that pain never goes away, ever, ever, ever go away. But coming to a point of a good point, I guess. I'm just thinking about the process of grief. I've gone through that process before, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there? But it takes months, years, and then
Yeah,
even then, that pain never goes away. But yeah, is there kind of like a rough timeline for these sorts of
I
things?
don't I don't think there is really. I think it's very individual to the parents and how they. I think there's lots of things that can impact on this, and that this is something that again that I've considered over the last few years.
Mm,
Um, because I think so. If you have a positive relationship with disability, then that's going to help that journey.
right.
Some parents will have their own disabilities, and again, how they sort of connect with their own disability and their own identity within that can have a positive or a negative impact on how they see their child's disability as well. Um, the societal views also have an impact. So there's so many factors that can influence how much support they have or how much support they feel they have. Um, and that can vary, because often when you have a child with additional needs of any description, that support network often dries up quite quickly. People become, people who were available and saying they were available to babysit anytime, suddenly they're busy and they don't have that same level of support.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's something that, and even within families, lots of the dads that come to the group talk about dynamics within their families being really tricky. Parents who, perhaps older school will say things like, "Oh, they just need to be ruled with an iron rod, and that'll sort them out." And it's more so for like this developmental sort of conditions rather than physical conditions. I think there's a difference between that as well, because physical disability, you can see it, you can see that this child has this wrong with them. They have mobility issues. Maybe their legs aren't as mobile as other children's. So they might be in a wheelchair, they might be using crutches, they might be using leg splints. For children, autistic children, children with ADHD, it's not so obvious, and so people don't see they don't see the disability. They see a child misbehaving, a child not doing what they're told, and so they often see it as behavioural. And so again, that lack of understanding, and I think that is changing as we learn more, and there's more and more awareness sort of all the time. But yeah, we still sort of experience that, and lots of the dads have come, and I experienced this as well with my own father. When we were really struggling, I didn't know who to go to, so I naturally went to my parents and said, "Look, I'm really struggling with my child's behaviour. I don't know what to do. What would you advise?" And my dad just said, "They just need a good hiding." I was like, "Thanks, Dad." And I just walked out the house, and I was like, "I'm not going to go to you for support. If that's the only, I came to you because I'm really struggling.
Yeah.
If that's the only advice you can give me, I know that's not helpful. It's not legal, all of these things." But I knew that wasn't going to help the situation. It would, in fact, I knew it would only make it worse. So I'm like, so where do I go now for support? I don't have anyone else to go to. So yeah, it just, and some of the other dads have had similar sort of experiences with their fathers, and it's caused quite a significant rupture in the relationship for a while. So all of those things influence how you see your child and how you see that, and you need to start seeing the positive. You need in your child, you need to start seeing the joy and not just the challenge. And I think that's so that if you're not having the opportunities to do that because all you can see is the challenge, then again that extends how easy it becomes to accept that your child, because that's the first point, is accepting that this is your child's life, this is your life, and then starting to learn how to live within it. And you have to do that before you can sort of get to then really enjoying it.
Yeah. Support is the key word that I think you touched on loads of times there. What kind of support, not just, I'm guessing the process is that either before birth through genetic testing perhaps, or at birth, or maybe it takes a while to develop depending on the condition. But I assume there's a diagnosis, and then you're put into support networks. So there's support for the child that happens. Is there support for the parents?
Often there's often services that will offer. I think again, more so with the more physical sort of disabilities, there's often much more direct support involved. Again, because the needs are more understood and more obvious. Whereas developmental conditions, often it's much trickier to know exactly what the needs are going to be until the child has developed and maybe started school, and then you start to see how they differ to other children. So you're noticing a difference rather than and the things that they can't do rather than the things that they can do. I can talk about how the house system and school systems are built very much on a deficit model rather than on a strengths-based model for hours. So I won't bore you with that. But yeah, I think there's not a lot of support for parents actually, though. Even with physical disabilities, often there's lots of charities that will take on that offer, but those tend to be sort of national charities rather than locally based charities. So often it's down to parents starting their own groups or finding their own support networks. That can be online, Facebook, and social media. Often offers a real useful place for that to happen, or then in-person groups like the Dads group. Just to bring some balance to that, I suppose, and bring some support. And actually, I think for me, over the years, my understanding of autism, then, in order to know what I needed to do to support my own children, hasn't come from attending courses or accessing support through services. It's come from talking to other parents, talking to autistic people themselves, and really learning from that lived experience. That's where I've done most of my learning, or most of my best learning.
Lived experience is so important. Can I talk about the elephant in the room? Are your kids awake, Stefan?
Yes. Can you hear them?
Wait, I can only tell because you look nervous.
Yes,
which I think on a dad podcast, just want to say, totally fine. But I know they'll look very well of just going,
oh no. Yeah, they should be in sleep by now. They're not. Oh, it's okay. Yes.
What was like,
no, all good. All good. Yeah, still awake though. Still awake. Yeah. But,
do you need to attend them? How you feeling?
I think they're okay. Just they, probably should be asleep by now, but it's fine.
Cool. Just noticed. Just want to say it's cool if you need to.
Oh, it's very kind of you.
It's totally the wrong podcast if we don't do that.
Exactly. Yeah, all good. Can I mention something that I've done, Mike? I often work with various groups within Cardiff hubs and libraries. And one of the groups I work with is called Neurodivergent Friendly Cardiff. I've been so lucky. I managed to run a story and rhyme time for children with neurodivergence, and I remember having just the best time. It is true when I've heard people mentioning that these people have their own superpowers. Autistic children have their own superpowers, and I wasn't quite aware of how that would work until I met this wonderful young lady who could just recite all of the Pokemon. She mentioned about all of the books she was reading, and she could name every single character and all the different descriptions of these different characters and every single Pokemon. And I was blown away just at the incredible knowledge that she had. So amazing superpowers.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had one of my youngest. We was fascinated by Five Nights at Freddy's when they were younger. And I remember they didn't just watch the videos or play the games. They watched everything. They learned all the lore, all the stories around all the characters. And then one day they decided to tell me everything they knew about 4 hours. 4 hours. I sat there and listened. I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. But yeah, 4 hours just. And my daughter as well. Once she was really into the what's it called? I know one of them is the Mockingjay.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. She was really into the Hunger Games films, and she just watched all of the films in order. And she came downstairs, and again, just at 11 o'clock at night, I was just packing up, ready to go to bed, and she decided that was a good time to start telling me all that she knew about that series. So that was 2 hours. 2 hours of my. But I think it's important whenever that happens. So when a child shares their interest with you like that, that's them letting you into their world.
Yeah, of
So
course.
yeah, it's a point of connection. It's really and it's really important.
It
Yeah, I love.
certainly is. Yeah, no, like you mentioned, a point of connection. So, for example, my son, it's very hard to get any sort of information out of him. I ask him about his day at school, and he's like, "Oh, it's okay, all right." That's all I get, and I try and engage him and ask him questions, and yeah, it's very hard to get any information out of him. So the fact that they're willing to open up is really cool. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, that is some lovely stories. Yeah,
Have you? What about
I
your
can't
kids, Will?
imagine. I was just thinking 4 hours. Like that is in my head. I was like, you have to be in a good place mental health wise yourself to be able to.
Mm,
Currently, I don't think I'd have the focus to sit through 4 hours of someone else. So that is an amazing gift to
that
give
is,
give your kids. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's so important. So important to give that time. I think we've covered that quite a few times.
Mm,
It's fascinating though. I'm just like seeing the joy that they bring when they talk, when they're sharing those stories and that information. It's just you can see the joy in their eyes, and it's yeah, it makes it worth the effort. And there's been times
oh,
absolutely when I've not been in the right
mhm.
place. 11 o'clock at night when I'm just about to go to bed because
Yeah.
I'm exhausted after a long day. I don't want to be staying up for 2 hours listening to my children talk to me about only like vaguely interested in, but yeah, just sharing that joy, sharing that sharing those moments is so important,
Mm.
especially because they often don't come often.
Yeah.
Um, that yeah, that can be fleeting. There's been
Yeah.
times when my kids have locked themselves in their bedrooms for months and months and months, and we hardly see them. So when they do come down and they do want to share, um, it almost feels like there's a responsibility, I suppose, to
Listen.
that time and yeah, just listen. And there's very little of me talking, so all I have to do is listen and nod and go, "Oh, that's really interesting." Occasionally,
You must be
No.
an excellent listener because I imagine that's also your day job as well. Uh,
yes,
that's your
Ah, yeah.
superpower.
Yeah.
Whereas I tend to just talk all the time. That's my superpower these days. Just fill in the space and
In
talking.
space.
Yeah. Um, the other thing that jumped out, going back a little bit, but support dads. And you said something at the start that I was like, we have to come back to that, which was dads are different in the processing. Is that right?
yeah. I don't know that. I mean, there's a couple of things around that. I think dads are often very good at problem solving, and that tends to be where they go to when they're faced with any kind of problem. Is how can I fix it? How can I solve it? And a lot of the dads, when they come to the group, I think are in that mode. They come in to talk about their children's problems. When you're doing sort of video calls with parents in their homes, it's inevitable, isn't it, that
Yeah.
their children are going to appear at some point.
Yeah.
Children or pets.
Yeah. Do you remember there was
Oh,
during COVID there was a viral video of, I think, I'm not sure who it was, some guy and his kid on a stroller came in. And like the nanny, I think, was there. Like, no. That was funny. Yes.
that has happened to me, but not my nanny.
The,
There's definitely been some moment of me going, not in this meeting.
oh, do you know what? I felt like during that interview on the television, it would have been better if, just invite the kid in, right?
Yeah,
It would have
we
looked
always
better.
in my job. We run parenting courses online, and if the kids come in, we just stop what we're
Well,
doing and just enjoy that the child is there and
oh,
chat
top
with
man, like,
them, and yeah, just let them like you've just done then. Really, just
hmm.
it's good modeling, isn't it? Because they're children. They don't know that they're not supposed to, especially young children. They're just coming to see their dad or their mum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and again, hopefully the one point the last, like what are you doing, talking about mental health and health in general, and that's how the next generation takes it forward, and it
That's
becomes
it.
more and more normal. Um, yeah. but we got distracted again. What was it?
Yeah, sorry.
We were doing the dads are different
Yeah,
because they process different, but it's
yeah. So I
problem
started
solving. That's
saying,
where we were.
yeah. So I started saying about, I think a lot of the dads when they come to the group, they're in that trying to like almost fix their child. So not understanding what their needs are and what the diagnosis means. So they come looking for a way of trying to like make their child better. So using the welcome to Holland analogy, they're trying to find a way to get to Italy. They don't want to be in Holland, they want to be in Italy. And so and I've used this sort of analogy. I used the welcome to Holland. I did a presentation to a group of professionals a few years ago, where I used this analogy and took it to its the nth degree. But just like sharing that I mean, for mums are accessing the professionals. They go in to they're attending appointments, so they're going and speaking to their pediatrician. They're going on courses because they're happening in the daytime. So they're learning about all the wonderful things that Holland has to bring. They're meeting they're talking to the guide, the tour guides. They're reading the guidebooks. They're learning the language. They're meeting the locals. They're doing all these things that help them to start to sort of really understand their child and start to see the positives much more quickly. Whereas the dads are still at the airport saying, "Why are we not in Italy? What's happened? Why can't you just put us on a different flight?" There's trying to like find a way of getting back to where they want to be, rather than spending time really understanding their child. And because dads are working, do we still live in a world where majority of families, dad works, mum stays at home, looks after the children. I know lots of mums now work as well, but the primary carer is usually mum, especially when you have a child with a disability. Often it's the mum that gives up work. If somebody has to, it will be mum that gives up her work, and dad will carry on working. So dads are just not. I think that's part of the reason I think why dads take so much longer to get to that place of acceptance, because they don't have the opportunities that the mums are having. And it's not that they don't want to be there. It's not, they I think all of the dads that come to the group really want to understand their children, and learn what they can do to help them. But there's just they're not, mums. A lot of the dads, when they come to the group, one of the first things they say is, "I'm only here because my partner told me I had to come." That's not because they don't want to be there. It's just that I think often they don't know what to do to help, so they're doing their best. They're trying what they think from their own parenting experiences, what they can to help their partner to parent their child. But then they get things wrong because they're not learning about their child's needs in the same way that the mums are. So we've had dads who have talked about helping by not helping. So I'm just when things are kicking off, I'm just going to take myself away and leave my wife to deal with it, because if I get involved, I just make things worse.
Yeah, I've seen that happen as well, where the dad would, they'll say, right, if I jump in, then it's just going to be more screaming, and yeah, it's not going to help. So they've actively stood away. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see it sometimes. Yeah, is that quite common then, Mike?
Yeah, very common in the group. I think it's something that I think that's probably the biggest role that I have is supporting dads to move along that journey of acceptance. So to start learning what Holland has to give, and that's through the sort of experience, because we've got dads in the group. We've got older children. Some of the dads who have been attending for the whole of the time that dad's group has been running, so their children have become adults, so they can talk about their experiences with their children and what they've learned, and bring hope to the group. So they can talk about how their child is, when they first were coming to the group, they were having all these same challenges that the other dads are talking about, but now their child is working. They're working in a school, or one of the dads talks about their child doing the welcome sort of speeches at parkrun, and like everyone loves her and she's amazing. And just seeing that progress, seeing where she was when she started to where she is now, that journey is massive. And just bring in some hope and just bring in some light to the to those really dark conversations is something that's really important, just to help people along along that pathway, so they're not just caught up in all the things that are wrong with their child. Like I said, that real deficit model, really stuck in what my child can't do. They can start to see, okay, with the right support, with maybe my child can achieve, maybe they can do something, and that achievement will look different in all of us.
Yeah.
But start to see that there is hope for their child.
Sounds like you're doing some great work there, Mike.
I do my best. I don't always get it right, I'm sure, because there's some dads, come and they don't come back. But
John, whoever gets things right, no one's right all the time. So hey, it's all good. It's all a learning curve for all of us,
Yep.
Each day. I've learned something, about all the new and additional steps that need to happen. I also think Holland is a wonderful place as well, with its own unique, wonderful joys and different things you can do there. So yeah, every cloud.
Absolutely.
It's nicely tied into the final bit of that, isn't it? But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, the very lovely things about Holland, which ultimately is the take-home message in that.
Yeah. And that's all you can hope for, isn't it? That people just start to see their child as something that is a person that they can spend time enjoying being with them, enjoying their company, and seeing the positives that their child and the joys that their children bring. And they do bring so much joy. Like I said, it's and we spend lots of time talking about that as well. We don't just talk. We share the celebrations, and when our children are achieving, the dads often will come and they'll just say, "Oh, they did this today," and and the smiles on their faces, the joy, and you can see in their eyes that huge amount of pride and joy that's brought to them. So we do a lot of that as well. We don't just like say focus on what's wrong.
If I had to push you for, it might not be one thing, but if there is hopefully dads listening to this, and they're going through a similar process, what's the first step? What do you do when you're feeling that, feeling of, oh, I'm in Holland? What do you do?
I think trying to reach out to other people if you can, like say Facebook is and social media is an avenue that we have. It's not always the best place, but I think there's lots of people through similar experiences. So finding people finding your tribe is often like something we talk about in the group, and just finding people who you can connect to, who have similar experience, not the same. The experiences won't be the same, but finding people who are living something like your life, I think is really important. But before that, even before you do that, I think trying to find the hope, but sort of trying to not just seeing your child for their challenges, seeing them for the whole self, and really, and maybe even capturing those real positive moments when you do see that they're doing something that perhaps they've never done before. Make a note of it. I talk to parents quite a lot when filling in like DLA forms and things like that. Write a list of all the things you love about your child. Don't just concentrate on the challenges, because it's such a negative thing when you only concentrate on what's wrong.
Yeah.
Having the balance of that, and maybe that's something that people could develop. Make a list, make a note of all the things that you really love about your child, and remember those things as well. Remember, back to the poem. Think about all that's your Rembrandts, that's your tulips, isn't it? That's the windmills. There's those moments. Concentrate on those things. Don't concentrate on what you're missing, I suppose. But that is hard. But I think, it's just trying to hold on to the hope, I think, and see the light in the dark. But
Yeah. I can imagine it being incredibly hard, especially after those hard days. Do you find it hard for men to open up and talk about these kind of things then in your groups?
Not really. I think some have. We had a dad who came and he didn't talk for probably about 4 or 5 sessions, but he was coming. He was coming
Yeah.
every time, and you could see the nerves. His legs would be going.
Yeah. I really are.
But then he started. But what he was doing, he was listening, and he was taking
Yeah.
things in. And when he did talk, he had lots and lots to give. We had a dad come. I remember one of the dads come, and he sort of like said, "I'm only here because my wife was getting fed up of me moaning all the time, so she's sent me to this group." He was a builder, he worked in construction, really a rugby player, really manly man. Within half hour of just going around listening to other people's stories, he then started to share his story. Within 5 minutes, he was crying his eyes out just because he'd had an opportunity to just.
Mm.
It was the first time he'd had an opportunity to talk freely about how he was feeling.
Wow.
And so I think if you give dads an opportunity,
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
need a space where they feel safe, then no, I don't think dads have any problem with sharing and being
Yeah.
emotional and being vulnerable. But it's
Yeah.
finding that right space.
Mm. And also to point out to the people, listeners, that it's okay to attend and just listen as well. You don't have
Yeah,
to, you contribute when you feel you want to, you need to, which
yeah.
is, I think,
I mean,
really special as well, being a listener.
And being
yeah,
out there, somewhere new.
Mm.
absolutely. Because it takes real strength, I think, sometimes to open up and be vulnerable. I think, especially for us as men, it's not in us, is it? We've been socially sort of sculpted them to be tough and be strong, and we're
Mm.
supposed to hold our emotions in, and we offer support to other people. We don't take it for ourselves, and
Yeah.
so finding the strength to actually be vulnerable. We've had dads who have said when they've turned up in the car park, they've driven, they've taken like 2 or 3 attempts before they even come through the door, but they've come through the door and they're making effort and it's making steps towards. And
Mm.
that's something we talk a lot about in my psychology job as well. Is sometimes it's not the destination, but the steps towards are just as important.
Mm.
Yeah. The journey.
When I kind of went through processes, I remember crying in a men's group for the first time, and it was that moment that, you know what, I'm a bit of a crier. I don't know if it's like normal if you just give men the space. We are just full of tears, but it wasn't even about something sad. It was about something happy I was sharing, and I just started absolutely. The floodworks came. And
Yeah.
ever since that moment, I've kind of switched it to being a bit proud of being a crier, like a bit of a role model, because
Absolutely,
it was one of the scariest things that I've ever had to do up here. I've
Yeah.
done
It
crazy
sounds
stuff.
scary.
Yeah, it's so scary to like cry
Yeah.
in front of other strange men.
I
And
bet.
actually, I'm
But
like,
you like it.
true strength. That was actually it. Yeah. Ah,
I had a quote from one of the dads once. I asked for like some quotes just for like because I was
yeah.
doing a presentation about the dads group, and I can't remember it properly fully, but it was something along the lines of the thing that brings you to the group is having a child with a disability or additional needs. But once you've joined the group, you start to make connections with people. You make friendships, and so the group then becomes something more. It's not just a support group; then it's a social group. It's a friendship group. So it grows and it just becomes something much bigger. And so then being vulnerable is okay because it's with people who understand, and we have people in the group who I've got teachers in the group. I've got let's say people who very much working class, who are builders, and also people who are unemployed. There's the people that you would never put in a room together,
Mm.
but because of that shared commonality of having a child with additional needs, it breaks down those barriers. All of those barriers just get dropped straight away.
Yeah.
Because actually, I'm not here because of that. I'm not here because of my job. I'm not here because of my class. I'm here because I really want to support my child and I don't know how. So I want to be around people who can help me to do that and get me to that place. So it's beautiful, especially when you see it, when you really see it happening. I get quite fatherly over the dads. I feel like a fatherly pride when you see those sort of steps, steps that they're making towards just being the best dad that they can. And we all get it wrong. There's times when parenting is hard, isn't it? And I think sometimes it feels like we just make more and more mistakes and we don't get anything right. And then there's other times where we get everything right. And it's sort of, again, holding on to that.
I love the idea of the being a parent is an equalizer. No matter where your background is, no matter what you do, no matter how you earn, how much you earn, the experiences are unique, but also there's a lot of similarities with the feelings that we all experience at some point on that journey, isn't there?
Yeah.
It is a real equalizer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if there was kind of, well, I guess we'll kind of draw to a close in a bit, and I know you had something to share, but the the only other thing that I wanted to just say is if there are people who are listening, where do they find your group?
So there's a few different routes. So we're on Facebook.
Yeah.
I've got a Facebook group. I've got a website. I can't tell you what the website is because it's really complicated because it's a Wix site.
That's
But
okay.
it is searchable on Google.
What we'll do is we'll whap it in the description of the video if you want, Mike. So then
That'd be great.
people, yeah, we will.
But we're based in Serenity Children's Centre in Gwent, so in Newport in Gwent. So and all the staff there know of the group. So if anyone wanted to find out a bit more, contact the centre and they could provide any information to whoever as well. So there's a few avenues to find out about the group.
Awesome. And when you're looking for like groups on Facebook, do you look for, would you just Google parent support with autistic children, for example? Is that the sort of thing you
Maybe.
look
I
for?
mean, mine does come up. It comes up for me anyway when I do a search for Dad's Group Gwent. But
Okay, great. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what would come up if you just typed in support groups. We are on. I'm trying to get into like some of these like database
Yeah.
organizations as well, but I've not been as I've not been as proactive as at doing that. But
No, awesome. It's well, again, it's a tough old crack getting these things out there, but it's awesome to hear that
Yes.
they exist and they're happening, and I love seeing all the things that happen throughout Wales to support fathers, parents on what is the most magical and crazy journey of my life so far. So yeah, thank you very much for doing what you do.
Yes, and I'd also like to mention, Mike, I could listen to you speak all day. So,
thanks, Stefan.
not
Should
a
we go into
problem.
the deficit model of schools? No, yeah, you had
Nice.
something to like close us off on that you normally do with your
Yeah,
dad's
so
group.
something we do in the group. We introduced it a while ago, just because I think we've gone through a period of dads bringing lots of real challenge into the group, and so there was lots of negativity, and it felt really. We were often finishing feeling quite sort of stuck, and so I we came up with an idea of having a proud dad moment, so ending the group on a positive. So it was something that the dads could just share, something that they were proud of that they'd achieved, a proud dad moment in terms of something that their child had achieved. Just anything that they could think of that was just to bring some positivity to the end of the sessions.
I can hit you with one. I can hit
Straight
you
off
with
the
one.
bat.
It was
Wow.
the county Kilch nursery sports day, and I was terrible at sports. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So when my now 2-year-old, nearly 3-year-old came second. It was that moment of, oh my God!
Yes.
And I ultimately just became that
Nice.
competitive parent. I was like,
Yeah.
no!
You're that guy
And then
now.
I had to withhold and could just, focus on the amazing job. I was
Oh,
like,
well done. Yeah, that's cool.
but yeah, that was a very proud moment, and also a moment that I realized that we're all capable of becoming that monster.
But a self-reflection.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But the smile on his face, I'm never gonna forget because he just enjoyed it, and that's the main
That's
thing.
what it's all about, the
Yeah.
enjoyment. It's good. Well, I've got one as well, and my daughter, she's got a gwasanaeth ysgol, so a school assembly tomorrow, and she's been learning her lines quite a lot at home, which is really good to see. And she's really enthusiastic to learn the lines, and she's nailing it all in Welsh, and she's, fair play to her. I must say, she's really gone out of her way to learn it, and she's memorised quite a few lines. So, yeah, she's done well.
And mine would be my daughter has got a few health conditions. She's autistic. She's mental health isn't great at the moment. She did the Race for Life on Sunday in Cardiff. She got a really good score, a really good time. She beat her personal best. We raised quite a lot of money, £375 and 67 pence. She made sure I knew it was and 67 pence. That made me really proud. Like I said, not just the achievement, not just what she was doing it for, but also just those overcoming some personal challenges to be able to do that as well.
She's done really well. Nice.
What Rubbergan did, absolutely got a smile on my face. So, diolch yn fawr for tuning in, and diolch yn fawr Charles for coming, Mike for coming on. 25th episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, leave a review, share it with your fellow dads, your parents. We'll be back next week with more stories, laughs, and honest chats. Until then, take care and look out for those positives and focus on what's available in Holland. No star.
Nice. No star.
No star.